The Gleba base is going to produce things, going to produce them in an automated way, and we're going to have a nice time doing it. Factorio stream. So where we left off is we have finally started putting down roboports so that we have automated seed delivery to our agricultural towers. I am willing to say, at least for now, not enough space in output. Oh, because it's spoiled. Right. At least for now, I am happy to let the agricultural towers turn on because all of their belts are actually hooked up to the base. We will have to refuel their seeds manually, but that's fine. And then you can continue grabbing trees as well. But this is the step. Oh, and your input output is all wrong too. You need to look like this, but flipped horizontally. Yeah, get rid of all this. This is all wrong. And then grab this, flip it like this, you go like this. That's not how you, wait a minute, that's not how you work. How do you work? You don't work. You work. So you need to go like that. And then you need electronic circuits. You need to make an extra requester chest, technically, but like not really. And then the big one that you need to turn on still is you need iron and you need copper stromatolites being made. So you plug that in. There you go. You're making fruit. Make a requester chest as long as you're over here. Good. And you can go like that. So it's Yamaka automated, Jelly Nut automated. We just need to give you seeds, which we should be able to generate fairly easily by pilfering from this box and from this box. What has been destroyed? A wall has been destroyed. Really? I bet the artillery fired. You can plant jelly nut. You can come over here and plant Yamako. And everything should be hunky-dory. Should probably also get some nutrients ready for when product starts to come in, like right now. Keep this guy running. As far as these belts go, I think they're going to stay yellow belts until we build our rocket silo, and then we're going to upgrade them directly to turbo belts. I'm not going to bother automating the blue belts on Gleba because it's going to take an enormous amount of iron. So you're full. Let's get you going. Let's get you going. And we just need to do this for long enough for the bioflux nutrient generator to turn on. which should self-feed its own nutrients, because that inserter will grab them. So you should be off and running forever now. You're loading nutrients onto the belt. All of this should sit here and run. Eventually they're going to make it around to you. As long as we're patient. Good, good. And then bioflux will turn on again. Eventually this turns to spoilage. It'll get grabbed off, put onto here. That belt is overflowing though. So you need to add one more section of belt here. Oh, that's not going to work the way you want it to. You need to do this. This needs to be a splitter that only grabs seeds. And then works like that. Because otherwise it's never going to send the rest of the spoilage down this belt, and that whole belt will back up. Which is a problem, because if that belt backs up, the nutrient belts can't clear spoilage. So you'll need to go like that. So you're running. You're running. You're not running. You don't have jelly nut. Why not? Because it took a while to grow. Here comes some more. You have more of it coming. You also probably want more biochambers relatively soon. Yeah, you do. You also want to keep more of these getting made. You can have some of those. How much plastic do I have right now? No, it's green circuits you need. Let's keep the red circuits going. Let's keep fuel going for these things. Still not making rocket fuel because we are waiting for more jelly nut to come in. But here it comes now. You're not running because you have no Yumako. You're waiting for the trees to grow. Well, you have extra Yumako in your inventory too. Here, you guys can use this. Knock yourself out. Because that bioflux keeps everything else running. Plastic is waiting for Yumako. Because Yumako's never hooked up. That's Yumako. You're going to need an inserter and a chest to remove spoilage from that belt. You actually don't need a chest. You can just go like this. Because spoilage goes on the outside. Which also means you don't need this. That's way more complicated than it needs to be. It can just be this. That has to be that complicated. That also has to be that complicated because of where this red inserter is. So you go like this, you are going to be filtered on spoilage only. Off you go. You need nutrients. It's because you never had any. And you don't have more bioflux coming anytime soon. Well, I can give you some of that. And then you can have some of that. That'll keep you working. You don't produce nearly enough fruit, I'm finding, is the problem. This fruit production is woefully inadequate. You're also out of iron. You need to set up your copper stromatolites now. Just go do it. No, you're going to need biochambers for that. Okay. So it's 20 iron. You can make 6. You need to make 30 electronic circuit. You need to make 6 landfill. And then you need some pentapod eggs, which you can get from over here probably. Knock, knock. I give you 6, give you 5. You want one more. Give you 7. I can live with that. Seven, 7, 35, and then just a ton of nutrients. So this will be iron. We'll get one set up for copper. While that runs, how are your chips doing? You're up to 15, but it's still working. Okay. You're going to need more steel as well. And you're going to need more iron gear wheels. You need iron stromatolites still. And you're beginning to run out of places that you can find them. Oh, I don't have game audio. Hang on. You haven't been able to enjoy the Factorio soundtrack. There you go. Iron, iron, iron. Should be plenty for a bit. I'll be taking those. You can have these. That's the last pentapod I used up. There's your iron. You probably want a little more copper too, as long as you're wandering around looking for stromatolites. Maybe something like that. It's okay. It's alright. Give me all of this stuff back. And now you've got 14. So, how is this going to work? You're not clearing that belt fast enough. You would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably. Also, why do you need a spoilage inserter here? I don't think you need to exist. Why do you need to exist? I'm going to assume that you don't need to exist. And I'm just going to get rid of you. Because these eat spoilage. They want spoilage. Because they can't take off the middle belt. Alright, fine. You can take in spoilage as well. How about that? Now, we can go ahead and plan what our iron and copper production is going to look like. You, here. You are going to make iron bacteria. You make 0.3 per second. No, that's the wrong recipe. You need to cultivate iron bacteria. You make 3 per second. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to have 4 of you. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You are going to direct insert. This is just going to be easier. You're going to direct insert. You're not going to direct insert. You're not using direct insert, right? You need more iron. Paper steel, too. And then keep the steel manufacture going. Should be able to make one more. You're getting close to making one more. So, these require iron bacteria and bioflux. They make iron bacteria. They consume 1, they eat 4. We need to have these machines feed themselves. So this is going to be inserting iron bacteria. This is going to be taking out iron bacteria. If this machine ever needs iron bacteria, it will grab out of its own output first. Problem 1 solved. Although I'd really like you to be doing these as ghosts, so they don't blink no power at you. There you go. You're also going to need a bioflux belt, because they take bioflux. And you're also going to need a spoilage belt, which is going to run the other way. Spoilage belt. Spoilage out, spoilage out, spoilage out, spoilage out. Spoilage only. You're also going to need nutrients in. So you want this to be your conveyor belt. Classic nutrient conveyor. Like this. And then you just go under here. Nutrient in, nutrient in, nutrient in, nutrient in. We don't have to filter those. The only thing they could ever see that's a valid insertion target is nutrient. Bioflux in. And then, incredibly, because nutrient's going to be on the inner line, we can just have an inserter at the end that puts directly onto the outer lane of the nutrient belt for any spoilage that occurs as a result of bioflux. So this solves one problem. This is how we make iron. It's also going to be how we make copper. The larger problem is what happens when this backs up, and we're not consuming as much iron as we're producing. The iron bacteria is going to spoil on the belt, and it's going to turn into iron ore, which we cannot use to breed iron bacteria. So even further upstream, we're going to need one more, and this is the one that is going to do iron bacteria generation. It's going to put onto the same belt, just like this. It is going to pull out only what happens when things spoil in you? Pull the nutrient belt even further up. That's what happens. And then pull it even further up again. Here, here. You, iron bacteria. You are bioflux, but you don't care about bioflux. You are nutrient belt. You are iron bacteria. Iron bacteria out. spoilage out, nutrient in, jelly in, because this thing takes jelly as a reagent. And then it makes a ton of spoilage, which is fine because we're spitting that out. And then you are going to do jelly from jelly nut. So we're going to have a jelly nut belt that comes in like this. Insert. Inserter here. Underground here. And you're going to go like that to get spoilage on the outer belt. You're going to filter for spoilage only. You can only ever grab jelly nut. In you go. And then you need a way to extract spoilage. Which would be that. And that to grab nutrient. So this is how our iron manufacturing is going to work. And then this inserter, you specifically are going to look at the contents of this belt, all of it, and the only time you're ever going to turn on... Oh, you're gonna need a combinator for this, actually. You are going to need a arithmetic combinator? No, you're going to need a decider combinator. We only want this to turn on when iron ore equals 0. And iron bacteria equals 0. So if it looks at the output belt, and it goes, there is nothing here that I need, it's going to turn on and grab jelly nut. So conditions, and iron bacteria equals 0, and iron ore equals 0. Then output, green check, at 1. You enable if green check equals 1. So you should be enabled, based on this decider combinator, to grab jelly nut as long as you don't see any iron ore or iron bacteria on this belt, because if it's backed up, we don't need to be cultivating extra iron bacteria. We actually want to wait until this entire belt empties, and then we want to turn it back on. So the last thing that we need... Hello. You doing book reading?
Oh.
Oh, okay. So the last thing that we need to do is we need to make nutrient from bioflux. We already have a bioflux belt. We can just pull it right along here. You are going to take bioflux in. We want you to live on the belt. That's the way we do you. This is the part where the... Well, no, because you also want to split bioflux off. Maybe this is a rare case where we actually split the bioflux belt. It is going to pull a lot of bioflux down this belt, though. But it would anyway. It doesn't matter. It's going to do that no matter what. So yeah, you're going to split off the bioflux belt. And then any spoilage that you get is actually going to go directly onto the spoilage belt. You are filtered for spoilage only. Also, you may accidentally produce jelly nut seeds. So you need to be filtered for jelly nut seeds as well. So this is where the spoilage belt lines up. What are you? You're jelly nut. Jelly nut comes in this way. Bioflux comes in this way. Technically, I guess you should go underground. And you come through like this. And then you're going to have an inserter here pulling Bioflux. Where are you getting your nutrients from, though? How do these things turn themselves on? They feed themselves with their own nutrients. Alright. Then you need an inserter here. You're also going to have an inserter here. You don't have to do it underground. You can have an inserter here. It feeds onto a belt like this. That's just going to load directly onto the spoilage belt, and you're going to carry spoilage. And jelly nut seeds. Yumako seeds can't be made in this thing. And that is how you're going to make iron bacteria in a sustainable way. So pull this guy all the way down to about here, I guess, because we need bioflux output. And we need jelly nut output. So you would go here. You would be a splitter that turns onto that belt. You would go underground here again. Going up 2. You would be a splitter that comes around like this. And everything else about this build should be ready to build. One entity is destroyed. A turret. That's expected. This corner is so messed up. Because these spitters just sit here and destroy everything. Alright, how much belt do you need? 83. I'll do 20. We have another 6 red circuits. You are out of green circuits. Let's go check and see how your orchards are doing now that you've gotten yourself more seeds. You should be able to dump more things into that factory. Sure enough. Start growing. This is the part that I would really like logistics bots to be able to manage. So let's build one more. Ah, no. No. You don't make that. You don't actually make that thing. You make this thing. Could have been a landfill. I don't think you're going to need it for this one, but just in case. One more. I think I need 2 more. And then I'll need to extend them up this way as well so they can reach these boxes. Those are the ones that I need to hold seeds in. You're going to be out of steel. Are you making more? You're making some. Get the boxes ready now. You're also going to want to put together medium electric poles. That spoilage box is not quite full yet. Get those 2. No, these need to be passive providers. Yeah, you've built the wrong chest. They need to be passive providers. We'll still make use of them somewhere. And then what you need? 43 belt. You could put your power in. It would tile nicely here. I believe. Not quite. It's not gonna like that either. You can do it this way. And then you can also squish this design down a little bit. You can go here. So that you can go here. so that you can go here, so that you can go here. And then I can squish you down to here. And then I should be able to run a much more compact power configuration. You... Oh, you're gonna need a ton of these, aren't you? 15. Alright, rip the band-aid off. And then one more. You are out of fuel in many of these. Fortunately, you've made an extra 24 rocket fuel. Top up the single boiler that this entire base runs off of first. You also need to go fill your Yumako orchard with seeds. Because I'm sure that you've run out. Off you go. Now you can finish up your power in. That reaches everything. And then because we'd like you to be square, disconnect here. Also disconnect here. Also disconnect here. What is this? Get that out of there. You need 35 belt. 10, 20, 35. You need ever more amounts of iron. You also need copper. You do not have a lot. Alright, we're going to need to go find copper stromatolites. I think I've left some over here. Yeah, here they are. Yum. Delicious. There's belts done. How many undergrounds do we need? 6. There's your 6. How many long-handeds do you need? 8. Not quite enough. Okay. So this at least gets rid of our need to always go and grab iron. And we should just automate it out here, I guess. We'd send it up this way into smelting racks. Well, where do we want to put the copper? Right above it, probably. Turn your Roboport off for this. Because the copper is going to be exactly the same. We would want to put it here so that we could split off the belt fairly easily. Yeah. But instead of jelly nut processing, you're going to be Yumako processing. And instead of iron bacteria, you're going to be copper bacteria. And instead of iron bacteria cultivation, you're going to be copper bacteria cultivation. And instead of jelly nut seeds, you're going to be Yumako seeds. And instead of jelly nut seeds, you're going to be Yumako seeds. And instead of looking at iron bacteria, you're going to look at copper. Instead of iron ore, you look at copper ore. Do I need to worry about anybody else doing anything weird? I think that's it. I think that means you're good to go. You're going to need 7 biochambers for that. You have exactly 7. So start building this. Then, after that, we can build smelter arrays, and it's like we're playing a normal game of Factorio. Yoink. 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 Like we can actually start to set up a rudimentary gleba mall where we automate belts instead of handcrafting it. Like a menace. Should last us for a while. In you go. And then after these two are done, all we need to do is make concrete and purple chips. And we have a rocket silo. Those are the only two steps that are left. Let's go ahead and turn this back on, since we're about to start getting Yumako again. Here, you can even have some of these. Right? There should be some on the belt any day now. Yep, there they are. So you're slowly going to be coming in. This will get our bioflux moving. Once our bioflux is moving, it's relatively shelf stable, so we can just start sending it down these belts, letting it pile up. Fruit is also relatively shelf stable, so we're not too worried about that sitting on the belt. My big concern right now is rocket fuel. I want to get that back on. What'd you come down here for? I don't know. You know what? I don't like the way this works. I think if you worked like this, it would be much more straightforward. There you go. Let's also start working on our next Roboport. You are going to need how much? Let's just make like 100. Keep iron plates producing. Yumako is slowly coming in. And then we'll start working on these belts. So we're going to have you turn up like this. We're going to have you go out one and then turn up like this. And I guess we'll supply you with rocket fuel. And that'll be what we use to burn you. I don't really need to use electric furnaces when rocket fuel is free. I mean, I guess electricity is also free, but the bigger problem with electric furnaces is how many red chips and steel they consume. So it's not like pollution matters. I can just make a ton of stone furnaces. Stone is very, very cheap. Get these nutrients kick-started here. Jelly nut is beginning to spoil, but this bioflux is on. This bioflux is very on. Off you go. That's all working. Let's go top up. You can't top up seeds. You don't have enough. You can give me the 2 passive providers that I need to replace the active providers that I made by mistake. Plastic here. And then do you have enough iron to set up your belts for the copper? 66? Probably not. Let's just make that many. You're gonna need 145? Yeah, you're not gonna have close to enough. So if you're gonna be making one full yellow belt... Oh, you need to put a splitter in here at some point, too. Which is gonna make your belt really unhappy. It is. That's a good point. 3, 6, 9, 12. And so it needs to be here. You've given yourself almost no space to do that. You can go like this. You can go like this. And then you can go like this. You can output priority on right. And then you can turn back in. And then how far can that signal reach? Far enough. Read all. And then I think it might have been Vision who was saying that if I just chain these together, they automatically read some. And I don't have to do any fancier work than that. So we'll see if that's true. I think that's what he said. But we'll find out. Rocket fuel production is back on. We have made 66. That's a very robust amount. We have 3 jelly nut seeds. Let's go plug those in. Good. You are toiling away. 43. Getting very close to our next Roboport. You're going to need more steel. You're going to need rocket fuel for it. You guys keep working. You need 25 belt. You need 17. You need 12. You can't make 12. You're probably going to need more copper. And I think you're out of... you had some in the foundries. It's okay. No, it's iron that you're short on. There you go. 12, and then you're going to need a bunch of undergrounds. And you're going to need another decider combinator. Alright, so work on all of that. You need to replace this section as well. You go here. You go here. You go here. Splitter here. It rolls in like that. Output right priority. You need 2 power lines. You need 1 splitter. And then a bunch of iron to make 10 undergrounds. That's a problem. I want you back on. That's also a problem. I want you back on. Actually, how are you still making things? Also, why did this never get connected? Weird. Any weird things going on? Mining prod 5. Oh, that's my last research. Huh. I guess we'll just go to 20. Alright. Give you some starting nutrients. The rest of you will turn on automatically. Give you some starting nutrients. Give you some starting nutrients. Give you some starting nutrients. You will keep yourself running automatically. Install splitters, for which you're going to need a little more iron. I'm going to need 2 of them, I believe. You do still have bioflux coming down. You do still have fruit coming down. This is your bioflux. This is your Yumako. You're going to need a lot of undergrounds. So you go here. Yoink. You go in like this. You come out here. You're going to go underground here, and you're going to go underground here. You're going to get a splitter here. You're going to run over like this. You need to get a little starting nutrient. Why aren't you producing? Because I never replaced the jelly inserter. It's alive. We've automated iron. And we don't need to do anything special with the bacteria because it's just going to sit on the belt and spoil. So with that out of the way, I need stone. A lot of stone. You are no longer running. You need green chips. You've made 20. That puts you at 63. You can make another Roboport soon. So you're going to go here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I'll say is probably going to be good enough. This is going to be iron plates out. Copy you. Paste you here. We're going to have a pair of splitters at the top. Why are you not making? Because I didn't give you your inserter for Yumako Mash. So off you go. You also didn't wire this thing up. How do these things need to be wired up? They look at whether nutrients are less than 20. And that controls the input arm. Read, hold all belts. Copy circuit condition. Read. Hold all belts, copy circuit condition. Alright, so now they shouldn't be taking any extra bioflux that they don't need. And overloading the belt. You're going to go like this. We're going to have an underground in there. We're so close. Like this. And then for this, we're probably going to do... I might do requester chests for rocket fuel, honestly. I just don't want to run a belt that far, but I could. This will keep you running for a while at least. And then inserters. And then a little extra belt. And it's just like we're back on Now Vs on day one. Except we need to power everything. Which I only just thought of now. Also, you're getting dangerously close to being full. I'll give you another one of those. Maybe grab a bit more rocket fuel too. Why are you slow? Because you're low on jelly? Because you're low on jelly nut. Okay, that's fine. I understand that. Hey, what if you just did cheap power pulls here? Cheap wooden ones. You don't need this to be super fancy. You just want it to be on. Alright. Iron automated. I can tear down all of these. I can put all of my iron ore into furnaces. It's a huge amount of inventory off my mind. We're still going to be handcrafting for a little while longer, but not long. We have within us now the technology to... Alright, you are running. Good. That's all I wanted to know. We have the technology within us to automate belts, inserters, and all of life's other modern conveniences now. Let's go keep the agricultural trees running. And very soon now, we're going to be making artificial soils. Or not artificial soils, overgrowth soils? Whichever the one is, artificial soils. So that we can actually expand these patches. Because we're not growing a ton of trees on these busted patches. We need to be doing better than that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's going to let us finish the other side of this out. Start plugging it in. You're going to have a nice long underground that goes under here. And then I guess in, like, this box, this is going to be where we do, like, a mall, and then up here is going to be ag science, and up here will be carbon fiber, and that's basically the Gleba base done. It's not going to make a whole lot else than that. We don't need to make rocket turrets on Gleba. We can just ship carbon fiber off. And I don't think there's anything else that actually needs to be produced here locally. Give me a ton of those. Give me 4 of these Yumakos. I don't know why I have them on me. You managed to run out of nutrients somehow. Have some of those. I'm concerned that that can happen. I assume it's because we're not really capping out on our bioflux. Also, how's spoilage on the inner belt? How is spoilage on the inner belt? Because it's nutrients that spoiled. That's how this system deadlocks and why you do need to take spoilage off of it. At least we remembered. So you would go like this, you go like this. You're going to go into a splitter. Finish all the U's up. Finish this grid of electricity up. And then put all of these inserters down. Your splitter's almost done. What do you need to keep making red chips? You need green chips. For green chips, you're going to need copper, so just focus on smelting for now. You need to filter on spoilage only. I don't want you taking anything off this belt that's not spoilage, like nutrients, for example. And then you're going to go like this, splitter here. Copy the filter on it. Pick up that little excess. And then I want one more blue inserter. Oh, that box is full. Then I definitely want one more blue inserter. And then I want one more blue inserter. All right. Belt. You're not running because you don't have nutrients. You don't have nutrients. There's some things here that still need revision. But the core of it is that if Bioflux breaks, everything else breaks. So that's going to be the one we need to keep an eye on. Here is copper. Knock that out. You work on that for a bit. I'm going to go run some seeds. And I'll be with you again shortly. These we can take down. You need to be fueled up again. Here's your jelly nut seeds. How many you got in there? 8? Alright, you're doing fine. And then what are you working on over here? You have a bunch of trees planted. That's great to see. Have some more seeds. Just keep the fruit moving. The name of the game is keep the fruit moving. Pull copper up here. You need 2 splitters. It's going to be a problem. Because you're out of copper. But you can smelt this stuff and it'll be okay. You built the wrong splitter, huh? There you go. No, that's wrong too. Oh, son of a... It's all going wrong. I mean, it probably would have been fine, but... There you go. So, we just need Bioflux to turn all this stuff back on now. Right? And Bioflux isn't running because you don't have Yumako. But Yumako is on the way. You should have enough red circuits and iron at this point to do a Roboport. You just need the steel. Get some steel going. And then these guys are going to need some nutrient help in order to kick back on. But they're not ready to... Well, actually, they do have a lot of Bioflux right now. They could kick back on. You can also grab a little bit of spoilage out of here. How are you getting seeds all the way down here? You shouldn't be, unless you're not grabbing fast enough. You might not be grabbing fast enough. This is a case where you could be using splitters, and you probably should. But as that belt gets further down, we'll handle it. Alright, you're briefly operational. I saw you move. You're full of copper ore. Yeah, no, wait, hold on. You shouldn't have a filter. Oh, no, you should have a filter on iron bacteria or iron ore. It should be both. You should be both. I just don't want you to take out spoilage. And then you need to have a filter for only copper. There we go. That's what we want. Okay. Good. Good. Everything is good. The base, it kind of works. It occasionally produces things, which is a marked improvement from what it used to do, which was made nothing at all. Your next task, really the only task that's left, is to expand Roboport network, set up concrete. Well, okay, so you're going to list like 5 tasks and be like, you only have 1 task left, and it's actually that many. You need to... What's most important? Whoa. I really want to expand my growing areas. Expand your growing areas, then. Pilfer nutrients off of a belt. One single 5-part task. Hey, we're getting there, honestly. This Gleba belt does more now than it has at any point previously. Like, look, we've automated iron and copper. It's even getting smelted. We haven't built a bus yet, or a mall, or anything like that, but I could. I'm just choosing not to. But I think the biggest thing that I want to do is I want to improve the amount of growing that we can do with these planters. I want them to be able to grow as much as possible. So every time I get surplus seeds now, I'm going to bring them back with an extra set of soil. And then I'm also, we're at that point, gonna start decorating. I'm gonna make it look nice down here. Which is going to involve smelting stone brick, which I can do. Like, look at it. It runs. It makes things. What's not to love? It makes things really poorly and, like, only in short bursts, but it makes things. I have beheld the Gleba base in my mind's eye. And it's good. It's okay. It's average. So that's going to be iron plates out. The first thing I'm doing with iron plates, I'm making belts. I'm no longer handcrafting belts. The era of handcrafting belts is over. You feeding rocket fuel into a stone furnace is wild. I mean, I haven't sat down to do the math. I'm pretty sure that, like, fuel value doesn't matter, right? It matters, but, like, if I took rocket fuel, it has 100 megajoules of energy. I'm pretty sure I'd get the exact same thing out, whether I put 100 megajoules of energy directly into a stone furnace, or whether I put it into a boiler, which makes steam, which makes electricity, which runs an electric furnace. I'm pretty sure the math comes out the same, but it's so easy to make rocket fuel on Gleba. It's so easy. Alright, I need 5 landfill. And then I need 50 nutrients. Where should I thieve nutrients from? Who's making a lot of nutrients? Probably gonna be you. But I still don't make nearly as much bioflux as I would like. We still just need to scale it. 43? Close enough. I'll handcraft the last one. I want this Yumako belt full. And then stone me here. It's gonna look so good. It's gonna be like a little orchard. Run like that. That should be one... No, not yet. There. That's one more square that you can plant now. But you can't plant this square. So this is where we need to cut landfill back in. We can't grow here. And then we can grow here. Yeah, you can bring your stone break in one more, and then it comes out. 2 landfill here. You should be able to grow there as well. I guess you can. You just haven't planted anything. You can grow one here as well. Like, redecorate when I get overgrowth soil. Well, the issue is actually it's outside of the biome. So you can't put overgrowth soil in a spot that's outside of where you can naturally grow Yumako. I would need artificial soil to cut that in at that point, or I would need to move the egg tower. But the egg tower doesn't really cost you anything. It just kind of sits there. If I need another egg tower, I'll just make another egg tower. You're gonna need 50 landfill, or 5 landfill for this again. There you go. You're also gonna need some extra stone for that. I'm not gonna lose too much sleep over, like, oh, I need to find the exact perfect place to put the egg tower so that it can harvest the appropriate amount of, like, Yumako or whatever. I'm just gonna put a second tree down. Or a second planter down. So you can go here, then you can go here. Brick will come in like this. I have artificial overgrowth as the next step. I mean, it is, but if it's not giving me the brackets, I think that means I can't put it there, right? Like, this is supposed to be inside the range of the tower, but they're red squares. I'm not sure, actually, why it's not giving me the green target squares over here. Actually, why aren't you giving me the green target squares over here? You should be able to plant there. What's your problem? I'm not exactly sure what its problem is, because it should be able to grow here. When I mouse over it, it's like, yeah, you can. But it doesn't want to let me. Can't put down artificial in the water? But then why is it giving me the bracket here, though? Because there's water here. Alt-click shows what soil you can do. Alt-click. That's different water? What do you mean? Well, oh, okay. All right, so I can cut in here then, is what you're saying. I'll click just on soil. Oh, okay. Brown blubber. You are Yumako wetland. No, you're also Yumako wetland. There must be one corner of something in here that it doesn't like. Would it be this corner? It's all Yumako wetland. I should be able to put artificial there. I'm going to go get more nutrients and double check. Everything looks like it should be able to grow there. So I'm going to figure out what's going on. Also, what are you running out of? Yumako. You're not making enough Yumako. So this is fine. Yumako is what you want to plant. Just handcraft the rest with spoilage. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're slowly working. You're slowly working. This is all... The biggest issue, I think, is that I just don't have enough Yumako coming in. So we'll keep working on Yumako, and eventually that should be fine. Next Roboport goes here. These are going to run full tilt for a little while this thing charges up. We may need to think about adding 2 more steam engines. Eventually. We'll see. We might get there. We might not. Alright, so let's go see what's going on with this artificial Yumako. It's this tile. It's you. Your olive blubber lichen. So it's because there's one square there that I can't put it down. So yeah, I'm just going to stick to the brackets. You go here. You go here. You go here. And you'll want to put down a couple more. And then I guess we can trace around like this. I'm just going to fill it all in with landfill. I hate it. Get rid of all this water. We're going to need defenses out here at some point. And ideally, I would like them to be Tesla turrets. So we're going to need some good power coverage. And we're going to need some nice solid ground that we can actually put them on. So we'll run you out like this, cover you up. 2 more landfill for that. And then you will just sit here and plant. So go ahead. Keep that running. Then, let's get belts automated, shall we? I think we've waited long enough. I am only doing yellows. We're going to do yellows. We're going to make a rocket silo. We're going to launch a rocket. And then we're going to import turbos, and we're going to upgrade everything to turbos. I actually needed those inserters, if you don't mind. How many do you need? 12? Just finish them. You can leech copper off the belt here. Oh, it's iron, sure. You can leech iron off the belt for sure. There we go. Abuelita 82, hello. Welcome. How are you doing tonight? Give me iron gear wheel here. Transport belt here. Production limits? Nah, not where we're going. So what else do we need? What else do we make out of just iron? I don't think anything. But we also probably want to oh no, we'd also want to do like underground belts and splitters as well. Well, underground belts for sure. How's Gleba? Gleba's making things, and it's making things with minimal input. I'm very pleased with it. Since the last time we played, we have this brand new iron cultivation, which looks like it's not working right now, but actually it is working. It's just trying to deceive you. We have copper production, which isn't working right now, but it's supposed to be working. It's just thinking about it. We have smelting furnaces, just like we used to have on Nauvis. They're very retro. And we've begun the process of installing artificial soils so that we can actually get some of our agricultural towers producing things in meaningful quantities. Everything is going very well, and I enjoy the base. Stopping playing on Gleb is like quitting, hitting yourself in the head with a hammer. It's hard to come back to. It's really hard to come back to and be like, how the hell does any of this work? But fortunately, we didn't really do much on it last time, so the learning curve wasn't that bad. Is this my first after Nauvis? No, this is my third. We have done Volcanus. This is the Volcanus base. We have woefully poor production of rocket fuel, but we've got this nice beefy coal liquefaction. We've got some nice big mining drills. We've got some beacon-supported rockets. We've got science flasks, titanium ingots, titanium alloy, big old smelting plant, and then over here we've got a tungsten ore patch that's going to run out any day now. And then over on Fulgora, we have whatever this abomination is. Just some giant bot mall that's supported by an 8-lane blue belt balancer with a bunch of train stations that pulls in scrap from Lord knows where. And yeah, like Vision said, on the inner 3 planets, just as something extra fun to do to engage with game mechanics, I started on each of the planets with nothing. So we're on Gleba and we have a bunch of stuff unlocked, but for the sake of like playing Gleba and interacting with Gleba mechanics, I am not allowing myself to import anything from space until we build a rocket silo. So we have to build a rocket silo using only what we can find on the surface, and then after that, we are allowed to import anything we want. Because the planets all have, like, neat, unique mechanics. They're fun. They're interesting. But you can kind of trivialize them by just shipping down a bunch of stuff from space. So I'm intentionally not allowing myself to do that. Also, we're out of jelly now. Gleba isn't tough enough. It's not bad. Like, this is becoming my hill that I'm going to die on. I'm not going to tell people that, like, actually... I'm not going to be the actually Gleba is easy guy. Gleba forces you to change the way you think about Factorio more than any other planet, including Aquila. But it's not horrible as long as you get over the idea of being efficient with what you use. Like, Nauvis is technically infinite. You're really never going to run out of iron on Gleba. You're never, or on Nauvis. You're never going to run out of copper. You're never going to run out of coal. You're never going to run out of anything on Nauvis, because even though the patches are finite, mining prod gives you absolutely ludicrous amounts of stuff out of them, to the extent that you don't really need to worry about it. But Gleba is capital I infinite. All of these belts can back up and spoil, and it does not matter, because you can just make more. And as soon as you get over the idea of, oh, I have to use this stuff up before it spoils, and you embrace the fact that things are going to spoil, and that's okay, Gleba becomes like 100 times easier to manage. Yeah, you just dump everything into a heat tower, which I'm not even doing yet. I'm just putting in storage in boxes, because honestly, Lord knows why. Although this is actually probably a problem. Should probably deal with that. Hold on. Let's deal with this quick. Actually, let's not deal with it that way. Let's deal with it this way instead. This is only a problem because I don't want the fruit to get backed up. If the fruit gets backed up, we begin to have a problem. That's annoying to fix. Also, you, stop that. Spoil a jump. You, spoil a jump. You, under. Actually, you not even under. This is just where the belts end for now. There you go. And then you can go back in here. So frustrated earlier with Gleba, you went and played some Rocket League. Everyone's got their own ways to decomp and to de-stress. Need 50 more nutrients for out here. Let's go grab some. That tower's almost done, and Yumako is really starting to build up. Why are you off, though? Not enough bioflux. That's actually a problem. We still don't have the ratios quite right here, and our cold starter doesn't really work. Actually, why don't you work? When nutrients less than 10, you grab spoilage off the belt. I think I need to connect you to a belt, and I need to tell you to only run when spoilage, which is in here somewhere, is greater than, like, 30. Because then you can pull spoilage off the belt when it's critically low and turn it into nutrients, and when spoilage is too high, you can pull it off the belt, and you can dump it somewhere else. Because I absolutely cannot have Bioflux run dry. If Bioflux runs dry, we have a whole host of problems that are solvable, but very, very annoying. Is this my first playthrough? This is my second playthrough, but it's my first time starting on Gleba from scratch. My first playthrough for Space Age, I just shipped down all of the stuff that I needed on Gleba, and I was like, ah, okay, that's interesting. But, like, I never had to build a copper loop. I never had to build an iron loop. I was just like, whatever, get it from space if you need it. So this has been a pretty significant change. Oh, no, they're not seats. This has been a pretty significant change in thinking about, like, how to handle Gleba, but it's not my first time dealing with, like, spoilage as a mechanic. They're good spaces, just throw more trees that don't need artificial soil? Probably. 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 I need some of those Yumako seeds, by the way. I know I just gave a bunch to you, but I need to take some back. I actually don't think that Yumako is the issue right now. I think we've planted enough that it's back to being jelly nut. But I am wondering where all my dang jelly nut seeds went. Have you guys seen any? You're about to get nutrients. Just calm down. There's one. I need that. And then I need one more. That's one. Right. Let's get jelly nut also producing at the rate that we need it to. This has a ton of room. I love seeing this. Alright, off you go. Let's keep you working. Gleba and now Views both occasionally let you know they're alive from eggs hatching in the base. I'm probably just going to end up burning everything that's excess. It was the approach that I used in the first playthrough that I did of Space Age, which was not streamed. It's like my offline save, just to figure out if it would be actually interesting to play on stream. But it was literally, there's a one direction pentapod egg belt. And if you make it to the end of that belt, you are thrown into an inserter. Or thrown into a heating tower. It's not like, oh, if we have an opportunity to use you, we will. It's if you make it to the end of that belt, you're done. You're over. You're ended. What do these even take? Iron plate transport button. Yeah, you can just put it here. So extend this down a little more. You go here. You go here. These I will limit. I don't need you going crazy with it. And then you work on some of those. You being out of nutrients is a problem. Fix that quick. It's, again, the issue is we don't make bioflux enough. And I think we don't make bioflux enough because we don't have consistent enough fruit intake. Like, look at all the Yumako backing up now. I feel very good about that. But we can't have Jelly Nut running out at the same time, or it's just going to create the same kind of imbalance. You're going to have to make spoilage to cover the rest of those. There we go. Yeah, the turret solution works too. I definitely have my biter nests absolutely blanketed in turrets, so that if anything does happen, they get shot on sight. But the eggs, I don't allow the eggs to hatch. The eggs just get thrown in the oven. That's too much hassle. Now, the other thing that I haven't done, the one thing that hasn't been done on stream yet, or at all yet, is Ship to the Solar System Edge and also Promethium Science. So Promethium Science is probably going to be the first time where I have to interface with the fact that a biter egg can hatch. And also, I don't think I ever automated artificial soils. The ones where you have to ship biter eggs to Gleba in order to make them. So those are two cases of things that I have not done yet at all. And they're things that I'll probably try and do in this file just to say that I did them. But those are ones where it's going to be... I'm going to want to make use of those eggs. Why can't you go here? Is it another case of like, oh, it's the wrong soil type? Yumako wetland. No, I think it's a case of you should be able to plant there. It is a case of you should be able to plant there. You just need to put landfill down. No, it's not. There's olive blubber lichen, son of a... Alright, give me that back. Give me that back. We may need to make a second Yumako tower. Where's my towers at? Can I make these in a biochamber? Egg tower. No. Okay, then I don't care about a productivity boost. I'll just make it by hand. We'll just go put down a second tower. And then build up our Yumako even more. Green can be artificial, yellow can be overgrowth. Okay. I'm just gonna stick to green for now. So we've got a bunch of space in here to grow. But... it's like here... No, you need to stick to green. There's actually not great spots to do it here. That might be all you can manage to get out of that tower. You'd have to go over here. Or up here. I guess I don't hate that idea. We can just belt it. It's going to be a lot of extra... Okay, I'm going to wait on that. It's going to be a lot of extra logistics to get a Roboport down there. Yeah, until I get artificial, I need to stick to green squares. I can't just do yellow. It's actually kind of a shitty soil layout. For Yumako. For Jelly Nut, it's crazy. Like, look at all the dark purple we have over here to use. Jelly Nut is A-okay. But yeah, the Yumako is a little annoying. And then I need to kickstart these again. How did you turn off? You're still running. Is that a nutrient with no spoilage? What is that? You did use up all your spoilage. How did you manage that? Let's take a look. 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. Maybe that's set too low. I think that might be set too low. Let's say if you're greater than 60, you take off. So you don't need to run for now, because there's enough nutrients on the boat. You're making jelly nut. That's fine. You're making Yumako mash. That's fine. Actually, why aren't you doing anything? Because you have Yumako mash in you, and you do. You're waiting on jelly nut. You ran out of jelly nut. You're about to run out of jelly nut again. Your agricultural towers do not produce enough. They need to be making more. I think this Yumako one is okay. I think just that one Yumako is fine. Limit inserter stack size so they still get a little. But it's a throughput issue. Like we simply don't produce enough fruit. So limiting inserter hand size is going to let all of them run for a little longer. But there's only so much they can do if we're producing like X amount of fruit. And no more than X amount of fruit. So I think it would help this run more efficiently, but I don't think it would keep it from shutting off. And primarily what I'm trying to keep it from doing right now is just shutting off completely. But like this is already run out of jelly nut, so we can't make mash anymore, which means all the Yumako are wasted. We're going to have mash spoil inside the machines. Yeah, we just need to make more jelly nut. We just have to update throughput. Yeah. We just need more. It's the classic answer to every Factorio problem that's ever existed. You just make more stuff. That's why you're frustrated I'm enjoying myself? Listen, okay, on the first Gleba factory that I tried to build, I did try to use limits on inserters to try and govern that problem. Because I was like, oh, it's using too much and everything is spoiling. You can't use everything because it's all spoiling too fast. That was me before I embraced the ethos of Gleba, which is just grow more things. And now that I'm a post grow more things Gleba farmer, now that I'm like the meme of the it ain't honest work, but it's a living guy with like the sun hat on and the piece of straw in his mouth. That's me on Gleba, man. I'm just like, make more stuff. It ain't much, but it's honest work. And it keeps me sane. I can't even tell you what these do. They only turn on when nutrients are 0. But why? But why? Why? And why only here? Why did you not do it to any of these? Also, why do you only have 41 rocket fuel? Because you're short on jelly now. You need it's everything comes back to jelly now. You're short on jelly nut all the time. Take some of this, take some of this. Let's keep our red circuit production going. You're out of plastic, actually. Well, we've got plenty. It's the iron of Gleba. It is, in a lot of ways. And then the Yumako's like, you don't need a ton of it, and then you unlock carbon fiber, and you're like, holy, I need so much of this. I can't believe how much of this I need. Wait a minute, why do you stop on the other side of this? Oh, I see why. This circuit needs to continue a little further. Hold all belts. Because you're supposed to be reading whether you see copper or copper bacteria. Yeah, alright. Good. Great. Should make a box for copper if I'm going to handcraft all the greens. I'm one step ahead of you. I'm just going to automate greens. The time has come. We're living in a post-handcrafting Gleba era. Wire. Green circuit. Insert. 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 Box. Long-handed. Long-handed. I think you only needed the one, but whatever. You're just gonna suffer watching me handcraft greens till the end of time? Imagine how I felt. Being the person handcrafting the greens. But I think we're ready for it. I really, really, really want these towers under logistic bot coverage. That is by far the biggest annoyance right now. Oh my god, please just give me one more, please. It's also where my greatest temptation is to ignore the rules that I've set forth. Where I'm like, God, imagine if you just shipped like 10 Roboports. Imagine how much faster this base could work. But that's not Gleba. That's cheating. That's using outside influence. Everything is broken. I feel like I'm losing my mind. It's okay, I'll find it. It's in here somewhere, I'm sure. Sometimes I look at the base and I'm like, yeah, this all makes sense. And then sometimes I look at the base and literally everything is like, I don't have nutrients right now. And I'm like, oh shit, this doesn't work at all. Why aren't you running? Are you low on power? Oh, because we just put the, because we put the Roboport down, and the Roboport needs to charge. That's okay, we understand this. I didn't bring belts or inserters or anything. I brought one stack of construction bots, and I brought my mech suit. And that's it. I came here with absolutely nothing. Everything you see before you has been built by mine own two hands. Brought my Mexican. Look, don't make me get political. If I had some help down here, I'd be getting a lot more stuff done. It's fine. But it's just me and my little flying boy. Can I please have another 45? Another 2? Not quite. It's copper that I need to keep running. Copper is the one that we're short on all of it, actually, all the time. Iron's not running because you don't have jelly. Jelly nut should be coming in. It is. I need to grow more. I need more jelly nut. Way more. 2 seeds. It's good enough. And then nutrients. You have none nutrients, use foliage for it. Top up your stone. Keep these running. That's a freebie. And then all of these are in, like, deep water. No, I can get you two. Alright. That's a couple good ones for not a lot of effort. But you have left yourself bereft of seeds. So what if you grab all of these jelly nut and you put them in a place that they'll be processed into a happier form of plant? And then you found one nutrient anywhere at all in the space. Doesn't exist. You're just gonna have to wait until you're done handcrafting. It's so close. It's so close to turning on. Why are you not level? I need to move these up by one. They're not in line. They're wrong. Need more trees? Yeah, we need more trees, and we need faster delivery of seeds. Which is what the Roboports are going to accomplish. Oh, you mean like literally just farm trees? Yeah, I could do that too, probably. That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. Let's go do that. You should have told me that earlier, Vision. That's a great idea. No. I know what you meant. What you meant was go on an adventure in your fancy flying suit and come back with armfuls of fruit. Because the fruit takes an hour to spoil. We're going out into the dang wilds, man. And I'm not coming back. For a little while. You're a jelly nut. You're 2 jelly nuts. Plus some other stuff. You're a lot of jelly nuts. Yeah, this is the one grace that I gave myself doing the start on Gleba with nothing, is I will bring construction bots. Because life without construction bots and a deconstruction planner is actually just like a horrible existence. Till I run into a stomper, I can just kite him. I've got a handful of personal laser defense and a decent amount of research in them. I think I can handle a stomper. It would be a little tedious, but I think I can handle one. Alright, so you get all of this. You get all of this. You guys can have all of this. You can have this. That's good for now. We'll go up here. We'll get a bunch of Yumako. This is such a smart idea. Oh, there was stromatolites in there. Whoops. I'm so glad I had this idea. I can, but it doesn't matter. I'll just take all of it. Everything else just turns into spoilage. It's like, whatever. Alright, now we just make a couple nutrients. I've only got 2 legs in mine, but brought mats to build a nuclear tank. Just be careful with how many legs you put in your tank. Because the legs make your tank go much faster. The legs do not make your tank stop much faster. And that one catches people out. The first time you put legs in your tank, you're like, yes, I am going so fast. And then it comes time to stop, and it doesn't. And you drive through like half your base before it comes to a standstill. And then you unlock Spidertron, and you can go back to having as many legs as you want. Alright, so let's let this run for a bit, backed up by the fact that I have an extraordinary amount of fruit. Also, probably triggered a ton of spore clouds. Yeah, not that bad, though. So as long as Bioflux is on, everything else should be pretty happy. We can also... just to make it look a little nicer, have it occupy both sides of the belt. You're full on mash. Why are you not putting in here? Oh, because you don't have jelly. Because you don't take out fast enough. Holy cow. Okay, so there's a reason that we've been stopgap for a bit, I'd imagine. We don't actually take jelly out of this machine fast enough to keep all 3 of these biochambers running. That ought to fix things. Actually, I think you could go even faster. This should be even faster than that. You could go double stack inserter here. Inserters look slow. How's power? It's chilling. This is just how slow normal yellows are. Now that we've got the 4 steam boiler hooked up, we're nowhere close to redlining the grid. Dunk all that in. Dunk all that in. Won't have that much trees to remove normally. It's the backlog. Yeah, maybe. But, like, this is ratio perfect. It's 12 and 12. Out of nutrients. No, you'll be fine. I think you also may need blues. Because you seem like you're very sluggish taking nutrients out as well. And that's also the kind of thing that might bog down everybody else. So what if you have a pair of these? You don't want to insert right now because we're full on nutrients. That's fine. Okay. So Bioflux is running. Rocket fuel is running. Iron production is running. You need double blues. I'm almost certain. Let's upgrade all of these nutrient plants to double blues. Actually, you're a single blue. But that's just because of the way your belt is. I think we might be able to get away with single blues in a lot of these cases. Have one of these, have one of these. This one, I want you moving very fast all the time. You must always be in motion. What fuel am I running in the smelter columns? Hand-fed rocket fuel, because it lasts for an absolute eternity. Eventually, I'm going to take like a requester chest, stick it here, have it request rocket fuel, stick it onto the belt so it uses the other lane. But for now, with how infrequently that smelting rack runs, and how much megajoules are in rocket fuel, and how much rocket fuel we produce, I'm just running it off of rocket fuel. So you're making green chips now. Not very quickly, but you're making some. Keep you running, keep you running. Let's make... We have access to great nutrients now. So we should be able to pop out some artificial jelly nut soil fairly easily. And I think jelly nut is still our limiting factor. Power grid's still fine. It sounded like they were running a little fast, but they look okay. Go here, here. And then you can have the rest of those. And then we'll go top up the Mako farm as well. Yeah, in the first Gleba base that I did, I ran heating towers that were also integrated into a heat pipe network so that I could like leech off extra heat from burning spoilage and contribute a little bit to the power grid, but you really do produce a phenomenal amount of rocket fuel with even a very small setup. Yeah, exactly what Vision said. Like, it's basically just getting destroyed. I don't think it was worth it at the end of the day. You generate a very, very small amount of it. Of heat, that is. Also, let's get some steel going. Should be about as much steel as we need. Finally starting to run out of fuel in some of our furnaces at the very end of the rack, so we'll come back and check on them in a little bit. But I really want to try and rush out like 2 or 3 Roboports, because we are very close to plugging this network in. We're going to have one more that goes here, and then one that goes here, and that should reach. So if we can just make 2 more Roboports, which is going to be 90 red circuits, and we have 21 now, we should be able to automate at least jelly nut seed delivery. And considering that jelly nuts are my throughput problem, I think those are definitely the ones I want to focus on. And Yumako is looking great right now. It's because we're hand feeding a lot of it, but it's looking great. I don't love that sometimes you run out of nutrients, and I think you need to be a little more aggressive. I'll set you to less than 60. In fact, I'll set all of you to less than 60. I want you to keep more nutrients on these belts. If a machine is sitting around not running, that is spoilage time that I could be using. Probably same thing for you as well. Yeah. And then same thing for you. Because they kind of get clumped up in one section of the belt, and then big parts of this whole assembly don't really run. You're also out of jelly nut. You have like 91 left. Right, I'm gonna go get more. Spoilage ran your smelter column just fine. How hard were you taxing it? Were you doing like 24/7 smelting all the time? with like a full rack of 48, or were you running like 10 and 10 and they ran a quarter of the time because you were using imports? Like, you can if you want. I'm not saying don't. That's 3 of them. Yeah, whatever. I don't even need the eggs. I'm not sure why I came over here. Get them. Get them. Juke them. Good enough. 12 aside into a box, emptying ore out of your pocket. Okay. Yeah, it'll run something like that. I mean, it'll contribute some stuff. With a base this size, if you were burning spoilage, you could probably run like 3 or 4 assemblers off of it. But relative to the convenience of just sticking a heating tower at the end of this thing and incinerating everything, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's worth it for me. Did you grab... Yeah, you did grab it. There you go. Make another 24 red chips. That's exactly 45. You're going to need a bit of steel. But you should be fine because you've got quite a bit of steel prod research. Give me 1. All of your iron is getting absorbed by belts. So let's put a restriction on you. And let's put a more aggressive restriction on you. And then make sure you're refueling these. The nice thing about running this Roboport straight up the spine of the base like this is that it will also reach potential requester chests here. And it should also reach this chest when we convert it into a passive provider. So you guys are going to need to be passive providers eventually. And then the requester chests that you were using by mistake, we can just put over here. We can have belt here and belt here. You're really not going to need to unload them that quickly, so a yellow is going to be just fine. And then you can have power pole here and here. I would really rather you not make that connection, and I would like you to request not much. 20 seems totally fine. We're going to do 1 here. Just because I want the network to be square, and then we're going to have 1 more, and that should reach everything. Yumako, Yumako, Yumako. For the follow, Kadrin. Welcome. Hope you're having a good time tonight. Give me some of this from your nutrients if I need it. You managed to die somehow. You appear to be out of jelly nut. You can have some more of that. Does that mean you're out of jelly nut seeds? Down at the end of the base. Possibly. Yes. There you go. Take 30 of them. Actually, you can probably grab nutrients off of the belt at this point. Where can you grab from? Here looks pretty good. We'll just get to 50. There we go. Keep these moving. Yellow inserter pulling spoilage and seeds off looks very slow. I should probably upgrade it to blue, yeah. I don't think it's lagging behind. Actually, this looks like... Why are my nutrients so full right now? Why are there nutrients on the inside of the belt? You're not supposed to be there. Or why is there spoilage on the inside of the belt? How did spoilage get on the inside? Outer. What am I not seeing? Oh, it's nutrients that spoiled. Duh. It's nutrients that spoiled, and now they're just spoilage on the inside. If I wanted to remove that, so that these inserter hands never get full, A, is it even worth it? I don't think it's worth it. I think it would look nice, but I don't think it's actually worth trying to figure out a way to do that. You're right, it is just nutrients that went bad. I temporarily slipped into no V-spray in there briefly. I apologize. I'm back into Glabo Brain now. Here, you can have some more plastic. Probably make some more iron there as well. Give me some iron. That's so much iron. We should be good for a very long time. All your Yumako's gone, all your jelly nuts gone, and I think it's going to take you just far enough to put down your last robo. Yeah, a farm will harvest wild trees, which is neat. Also, you can see a bunch of seeds on the belt that aren't being picked up. That's because I've got this thing set weird. Because I'm attached to the idea of having a failsafe that runs. Which I guess now that I'm about to expand to logistic coverage, I don't need. And you don't need to be connected to a circuit at all. You can just run all the time. Because I can have the, so this fixes a couple issues. One is it's going to take spoilage off the inner lane where it looks ugly. And two is that it's going to take things off faster. But I wanted to have a failsafe in place where if this machine does run out of nutrients for some reason, but we still have Yumako and Jelly Nut available, it can kickstart itself. I think the best way to do that, now that we're approaching actual Roboport coverage, is to have a small amount of spoilage enter the Roboport network and have it shipped to inserters that only turn on when it can't see nutrients on the belt that it's supposed to be curating. I think that's going to be the best way to handle that in general. Because we're really close to living in a logistic robot society right now. The restriction wasn't a problem for the spoilage. The seed should have just gone through a separate one. Yeah, but then I don't really have space for it because of how claustrophobic I decided to make this belt arrangement, because for whatever bizarre reason, I wanted my nutrient from bioflux biochambers to live on top of my main bus. I can't really explain that one, but, you know, there it is. Anyway, we got to build logistics robots here soon. I also need to put together my 50 flying robot frames. So let's set you up. You're going to need steel, batteries I've been carrying around forever, electric engine units I've been carrying around forever, and a healthy smattering of electronic circuits. I don't really see a world where I'm ever going to need more than 50 logic bots. I don't think they're going to be doing that much work. So I'm going to keep the number of them relatively low overall. How often do I stream Factorio? Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at usually like 11:30 to 11:50 p.m. I stream Guild Wars. I play Guild Wars with some friends of mine from 9 to about 11:30 or so, and then after we finish with that, I stream Factorio after. I do have a VODs channel if you don't want to watch the Factorio streams that are on Twitch, or you want to go further back in the archive. If you want to get yourself caught up on what I've been working on in the past and see some of the progression of the factory from like the first episode. But in general, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and then there's also a Discord if you want to get stream pings for when I'm going live. I usually remember to ping, and every once in a while, if I have some time on the weekend, I'll just pop off a little, like, hey, I've got 3 hours, I'm gonna go play Factorio, heads up. Kind of deal, kind of thing. What has happened here? You've seized... Oh, because this belt is backed up. That's not going to be a problem for much longer. Actually, this is a good time to fix this whole thing, because this isn't the way that I want this to work in the final iteration of the base. Thanks for the follow, by the way, Abuelita. I will thank you more appropriately as soon as I've resolved this thing. I want 2 splitters. I also need a... Actually, I can do that with a long-handed. For now? Sure. So I need splitter here, splitter here. You are going to split left, filter on Yumako. You don't need fast inserters for this. You are going to split left, filter on Jelly Nut. You are going to put into passive provider, passive provider. You are going to get a power pole. We'll run this through, and then you're going to get a heating tower. Which needs concrete. Okay, well, we need to set up concrete. Yeah, the fact that they're backed up is what's giving me pause. I don't just want to keep manually refilling the inserters over and over and over again. Because if these belts can't empty, I can't get new nutrients onto them, and that starts to become a major problem. So, where's my water belt? Where's my water belt? Where's my water pipe? It's up here. You can just go here. I'll give you a temporary power pole, because I don't need you to run for very long. Take some concrete. Take some iron ore. Plunk. Take some brick. Make some concrete. I need to clear that backlog. We are at 39 of 45. Yeah, I need to clear that backlog soon. Here's 10. When we get 20, what else do you need? Heat pipe. You need 100 copper for that. You. Just in case. I don't know what could possibly sneak through here, but I really only want you to burn spoilage. And then... heating tower. Incinerate all of this. Keep that belt moving. There you go. You can go in here. You can go in here. We have no limits on those whatsoever. I need my last 6 advanced circuits. Give me a Roboport. This is the Roboport that should reach up here, although now that I look at it, it looks pretty far. We'll see. I would love if you would fit right here. Spoilage will back up if seeds back up. I will have a separate solution for that. You are right, but I will have a separate solution for it. No, I'm going to have a solution for it now. Just kidding. We'll make that solution now. Because you're right, and it's a good point, and I thought that I had a better idea, and then I realized that my idea also had a limitation. You're gonna go here, you're gonna go... Oh, I hate this. No, you want to do it that way. Yeah, you're gonna go... Oh, I hate this so much. It looks so ugly. So you're going to be filters Yumako. You're going to be filters Jelly Nut. You're going to connect to the logistics network. You're going to be enabled when Yumako is greater than 10 times 40. You're going to be the same thing. Jelly Nut. Jelly Nut. So now anytime those chests get too big or there's just too much of it in the logistics network, they will insert into the burner. And of course, this Roboport is not quite high enough. And it's going to conflict with my main bus in a very awkward way. But I need to extend this network further because we haven't plugged in carbon fiber and we haven't plugged in agricultural science. So, unfortunately, I'm going to put together another 45 advanced circuits. But I have green circuits automated, so, like, it's fine. What's the problem? We have plenty of copper. Go for it. Yumako seed can just head over here. I'm going to turn these inserters once I put these into the logistics network, because I don't actually know... Yeah, they can't read the logistics network right now, because this is out of the logistics network. So if I rotate these inserters now, they're going to start burning all my seeds, and I obviously don't want that to happen. Then, let's turn all of this back on. Is everything down here turned off? Good. Now they read a 0 right now. I feel like these would insert. Oh, they don't. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we can just leave them like that then. Good to know. Hey, this will fix, obviously. This isn't quite working the way we want it to either. You're probably going to end up being a second heating tower whenever this belt gets to the end of the line. But we still need to tack agricultural science onto the end of this, and then after that, when we research it, we also need to add... You are inside the logistics network. Well, well, well. How many of you do I have? It's a wired network now? No, I learned this from Vision. You don't actually need to connect them to wires. They just read the logistics connection of the network that they're in. So as soon as I hook them up to any Roboport, these inserters will read the contents of the logistics network. You don't have to connect them to any kind of wire. They do it wirelessly. Why aren't you running? If they butt up close, they auto-read it. If they're in the orange range of a Roboport, they read the entire contents of that Roboport. So, like, if we go to Fulgora, I should have some inserters here that are logistics controlled, I think. No, I have factories here that are logistics controlled. So, this is a chemical plant manufacturer. It is connected to a logistics network. It is reading the contents of the logistics network. So I have 449 chem plants in this logistics network. And because the machine is connected to this logistics network, it can read the contents of all this garbage that I have sitting in storage chests. I also did not know that until Vision pointed it out to me. And maybe it's new in Space Age. I'm not positive. But yeah, the logistics network circuit controls are dead easy now. If all you want to do is control them off of like quantity of items in the network. Instead of reading that box, it reads all boxes within catchment area? Yes. No. It reads all passive providers, it reads all storage, and it reads all buffers. It will not read anything in a requester chest, and no, it will read an active provider chest as well. It'll read these four, but it will not read this, and I don't think it reads things in machines either. I'm not positive. Basically, if you open up your logistics network, well, bad example because there's nothing in that one. If you open up your logistics network, it will read anything in this items tab. If it can find these anywhere, it'll read them. Yeah, requesters are already spent, which is why the logistics network can't hook into them. But back on Now Vs, where we have a incredibly annoying and probably overbuilt train network that automatically supplies these walls with defensive materials, the fact that requester chests don't get read by the circuit network, but buffer chests do, is actually like one of the things that makes that whole stupid system run. I do not like that system. It works, but I don't like it. And one of these days I might go back and fix it. Unknown. Why are you so slow? Oh, you're out of plastic. I can fix that. It's not overbuilt to 24 longhand and 24 boxes to feed one car. That's true. That's damn true. But I did spend... You're coming into this Factorio playthrough at a good time, because I'm doing interesting things. You weren't here for like the 5 hours that I spent preparing the Now V space just to go to Gleba. Because I knew that I was going to be on Gleba for a very long time, and I wanted to not have to think about Now Vs at all when I was here. So every single wall in that base is self-repairing, and it took self-building and self-repairing. And it took me an enormous amount of time to figure out how to do that, and I still don't like the solution. Why aren't you running? You're out of Bioflux. You're out of Bioflux because you're out of Yumako. You're out of Yumako because you haven't given the machine seeds. Go give it more seeds. Or the Now V's walls. I mean, I see them as very much the same thing. The project of building the walls. It was all kind of... It all bled together. There were, like, some fugue states in there. I actually think that getting so mad at the Now V's walls was formative for how much I'm enjoying Gleba. Because imagine if we were having, like, a nice time on Now V's, and then we were like, okay, it's time to say goodbye. You're going to, like, Grandma Gleba's house, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't really want to be here. And then Grandma Gleba's house, like, fucking sucks, and you hate it. Oh, I ran out of rocket fuel in the boilers. Hang on. Should probably automate that, too. But, like, we left Now V's on bad terms. It works, but I was so ready to not look at it anymore. This is going to obliterate my power grid. No, it's not, because you don't have any logistics drones in that network right now. However, this is a good reminder that you should probably automate this. There's no real reason not to. Your power lines don't reach, bud. Well, they kind of do. Good enough. And I really don't think we're going to spend a lot of rocket fuel here once everything's up and running, so I am perfectly comfortable running this thing off of the logistics network. I don't want to have to make more than 50 logistics drones until much later in the development of this base, but I don't think that we're going to hammer the logistics network too hard by requesting fuel refills. More Yumako. And yeah, the new train mechanics are amazing. There's so much quality of life in 2.0 that's just so much better. The new trains are great. The new fluid mechanics are great. The ability to mirror buildings horizontally and vertically is great. So many just random improvements to the base game that I never really thought about until they got improved, and then I was like, oh yeah, actually that's really neat. Turret target selection is also really cool. Doesn't have a ton of practicality in like the old game, but in 1.0, but it is cool that you can do it in 2.0 now. Are you ready for another one? You are. Oh, you're ready for 2. You shouldn't have. Wait, where's my other batteries? Oh my god, they take 2. You have enough sulfuric acid for that, actually. Because you made a ton of sulfur. Yeah, make another couple of those. Make another couple of those. You at least have 25. You come all the way up here. Because this network is going to extend further than it does right now. Your problem is being out of copper. Your problem is being out of nutrients. We're so close. We're so close. Give me another 5. In you go. Start running some requests. Yes, man. Yes, man. So we still have to do the Yumakos by hand for a little while. It's probably going to take another 5 Roboports to get down there. But just automating the jelly nut should go a really long ways towards saving us a lot of annoyances here. You should also, as long as you have this thing set up, you should start making the 1,000 concrete that you need to build the rocket platform. Because you know you're going to need it. And you might as well start doing it. So then what are you missing? Blue chips. But you only need 200, and you could craft them by hand because you have sulfuric acid getting made over here. You've made another 25 batteries. You can make another 25 flying robot frames. I mean, importing concrete isn't efficient. It is strange how much concrete you can ship in a rocket. It's odd. A lot of the weight mechanics for rockets really don't make a lot of sense, but the idea of shipping concrete or like stone for Aquila Foundation in a rocket is a little weird. I'll grant that. Alright, I need just a couple more reds. I'm gonna make 10 more logistics rounds, and then I'm probably going to bed. It's pushing 2 a.m. here. But there's a very real probability that we leave Gleba on Wednesday, next time we play. I think that we are making real good progress down here. And it would be nice to get back to Nauvis and unlock carbon fiber so that we can start making it on Gleba and we can set that factory up. It would be really nice to import some electric weapons so that we can defend our orchards from potential stomper attacks. And it would also be really nice to start setting up biolabs on Nauvis so that we can push our science even further. So, if you want to catch when that's going to happen, you should make sure that you sign up on the Discord. I have a number of roles that you can opt into so that you get pings for when the stream is going to be going live in the future. You should check out the VODs channel if you want to catch up on the Factorio series in the past to see exactly what I got so mad at Nauvis about setting up the train network. And if you are a holdover from Guild Wars 2 and you're interested in that content, you can check out my YouTube, which is edited, curated, world versus world guide videos, builds, etc. specifically. I will see you guys around tomorrow around... considering how bad content was tonight in Guild Wars, probably like 11, maybe 11:30, to keep rocking with some Gleba stuff and finishing up here, building a rocket pad, and then getting back to Nauvis. But until then, I will see you guys around. Enjoy the rest of your night, and have a good one.